CR101radio.com, podcasts, and more.
17. Trick questions. Ask the wrong questions and you always get the wrong answers. The old trick question, "Have you stopped beating your wife?" is a good example. A bad question deserves no answer because it raises false issues and requires incriminating answers. Another such bad question, still very widely debated, is heredity versus environment, which determines man. There are scientists on both sides of the question, and people feel duty-bound to choose sides. But, from a Christian perspective, both sides are false. Both sides effectively deny human responsibility and transfer accountability away from man. To be trapped into answering on either side is to be committed to falsehood. Much of our politics today is tied up in such trick answers, which are the result of wrong questions. These problems arise out of trick questions which falsify the problem and thus magnify instead of solving the crisis. One of the worst of these tricks or devices which falsify life is the idea that, at the heart of our difficulties, there are some problems which need solving. Therefore, we are told, let us face these problems squarely, whether they be economic, racial, or political, and then come up with the right answers. We have been trying to come up with the right answers for some time now with no success, and one college president has expressed the fear that people are beginning to doubt that answers are possible. Well, there are no good answers to bad questions. It's the questions which must be changed. We do have serious difficulties in the various areas of life: economic, racial, political, educational, religious, and other areas. But the essential problem is man. He's a sinner. Man pollutes whatever he touches as long as he remains a sinner, as long as he refuses to ask the first question, "What must I do to be saved?" Acts 16:30. This first question then must be followed by other right questions so that man can learn to obey and to serve in truth and understanding. Man's questions must be related to faith, obedience, and action. They must be real questions, essential to life, not games and puzzles which becloud issues. They must recall man to reality, and they must not further his illusions. Like God's question to Adam, "Where art thou?" Genesis 3:9, they must compel us to face up to what we are and where we are, because only good questions can have good answers.